In 2011, Ironclad, a medieval action drama directed by Jonathan English, catapulted audiences into the bloody and relentless world of 13th century England. With a stellar ensemble cast led by James Purefoy, Brian Cox, Jacobi, Kate Mara, and Paul Giamatti, Ironclad paints a gruesome portrait of the violent and turbulent moments surrounding the Magna Carta Rebellion. The film is not for the faint of heart. It's a brutal, unflinching depiction of warfare, betrayal, and the quest for justice. Set in 1215, Ironclad immerses viewers in the political turmoil of King John's reign. The English king, portrayed by Paul Giamatti in a performance that pulses with unrestrained fury, has recently been forced to sign the Magna Carta, a document designed to limit royal power and secure certain rights for the barons. However, John, driven by an overwhelming thirst for vengeance, reneges on his promises, escalating the conflict. The film's protagonist, Thomas Marshall, James Purefoy, a battle-hardened Templar knight, becomes embroiled in the resistance against John's tyranny. Together with a group of rebels, he seeks to defend Rochester Castle, a vital strategic stronghold, from the king's bloodthirsty mercenaries. At the heart of the movie lies the historic clash between freedom and oppression, as a small band of defenders take their stand against overwhelming forces. But Ironclad isn't merely a historical retelling, it's a visceral plunge into medieval warfare. With its savage battle scenes, unrelenting bloodshed, and deep exploration of human endurance in the face of insurmountable odds, the film asks the fundamental question: can resistance truly alter the course of history? And is the price of freedom worth the personal sacrifice? To truly appreciate Ironclad, one must first grasp the historical context of 1215. King John, often remembered as one of England's most controversial monarchs, is in the midst of a crumbling empire. Having lost vast territories in France and alienated many of his barons, John faces a mounting rebellion that threatens his rule. The barons, fed up with his tyranny, capture London, forcing him to sign the Magna Carta. However, John's refusal to honor the charter sends the kingdom into further turmoil, setting the stage for the Siege of Rochester Castle, an iconic event in the struggle for English liberties. The political tension is expertly woven into the narrative, reminding us that Ironclad is as much about the battle for political autonomy as it is about personal survival. The Magna Carta, which King John reluctantly signed, is the cornerstone of the film's themes. While the king's betrayal ignites the flames of war, the document itself represents the early seeds of constitutional governance, which would go on to influence the development of modern democratic institutions worldwide. The Siege of Rochester Castle forms the dramatic heart of Ironclad, and it's nothing short of exhilarating. For the rebels holed up within the fortress, the stakes couldn't be higher. This battle isn't just about defending a physical structure, it's about fighting for a principle. Rochester Castle, which controls access to London, is more than just a fortified stronghold. It is a symbol of resistance to the oppressive forces of King John. The film's action sequences are relentless, showcasing the brutality of medieval siege warfare. Unlike many Hollywood epics that romanticize chivalry, Ironclad is unflinching in its portrayal of medieval combat. Swords clash, bodies are torn apart, and blood splatters across the screen in a shocking display of carnage. The filmmakers don't shy away from the harsh realities of war, and this raw depiction of medieval violence helps elevate the stakes. You feel every wound, every sacrifice, and every moment of desperation as the defenders struggle to hold their ground. One of the most impressive aspects of the film is its commitment to historical accuracy, especially in the portrayal of siege tactics. From the construction of trebuchets to the ingenious defense strategies, Ironclad highlights the brutal ingenuity of both the defenders and the attackers. For instance, the defenders' use of a trebuchet to destroy King John's siege tower is an example of how desperate circumstances often drive innovation. It's a thrilling moment of triumph, albeit a fleeting one. At the heart of Ironclad is a collection of richly drawn characters, each of whom plays a pivotal role in the rebellion. James Purefoy's portrayal of Thomas Marshall is particularly compelling. Marshall is a man broken by the atrocities of war, yet steadfast in his commitment to a cause greater than himself. He may be a skilled warrior, but he is also a deeply moral individual caught between the brutal demands of the battlefield and his inner sense of right and wrong. Marshall's journey is one of internal conflict, as he is haunted by the ghosts of the battles he's fought and the lives he's taken. Despite this, he remains resolute in his desire to fight for a better future. His dedication to the cause of freedom, even at the expense of his own personal safety, stands as a testament to the human spirit's endurance in the face of overwhelming adversity. His character's complexity adds an emotional depth to the film, reminding the audience that the fight for justice is never without personal cost. Opposing Marshall is the malevolent King John, brought to life by Giamatti in a performance that crackles with intensity. Giamatti's portrayal of John is a masterclass in villainy. He is a king consumed by paranoia and anger, his cruelty unrelenting as he seeks to crush the barons and their rebellious allies. His monstrous actions, such as the execution of Baron d'Aubigny by trebuchet, serve as chilling reminders of the brutality of medieval monarchs. Giamatti's performance is one of the film's standout elements, as he injects King John with a ferocity and unpredictability that makes him both terrifying and tragically human. The film also introduces a number of other memorable characters, including the battle-worn Baron d'Aubigny, played by Brian Cox, and the fierce, yet vulnerable, Isabelle, Kate Mara, whose relationship with Marshall adds an emotional layer to the story. Together, they form an unlikely alliance, united by a shared belief in freedom, even if it means facing death. Isabelle's role is particularly noteworthy as she represents the resilience and strength of the women who lived through such violent and turbulent times. She stands as a beacon of hope, supporting Marshall's efforts and reminding him of the reasons worth fighting for. As the siege rages on, Ironclad explores not just the physical struggles of the defenders, but also the psychological toll of war. The hunger, the desperation, and the fear of inevitable defeat are ever present throughout the film. When supplies dwindle and morale falters, the tension reaches a fever pitch. Marshall's daring act of stealing food from the enemy camp serves as both a desperate attempt to survive and a symbol of hope in a seemingly hopeless situation. This act speaks to the resilience of the human spirit and the lengths to which people will go to survive, even when the odds seem insurmountable. However, the tide of battle soon turns when the attackers employ an even more horrific tactic. The film's portrayal of the use of burning pigs to undermine the castle's foundations is historically accurate, yet utterly horrifying. The grotesque imagery of fat-drenched flames weakening the very stone walls of the castle is a perfect encapsulation of the brutality of war. It's a moment that highlights just how far King John will go to secure his dominance. This tactic, both grotesque and ingenious, serves as a grim reminder of the extremes to which individuals will go to gain an advantage in battle. The final act of Ironclad is as intense as it is heart-wrenching. The defenders, pushed to the brink of extinction, make their last stand against overwhelming odds. The ultimate showdown between Thomas Marshall and Tiberius, the Danish mercenary leader, is a brutal and cathartic moment, one that mirrors the larger battle between freedom and tyranny. It's a fight to the death, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Marshall's survival through this climactic battle is both a testament to his skill as a warrior and his unyielding commitment to the cause of justice. But the battle's outcome is not determined by brute force alone. As Marshall stands victorious in his duel with Tiberius, the arrival of the combined rebel and French army signals the end of King John's siege. The king's flight, coupled with his eventual death, brings an end to this brutal chapter of English history. But it also signals a new beginning, the promise of a future where the principles of the Magna Carta would live on. At its core, Ironclad is about the fight for freedom, a timeless struggle that transcends its historical setting. The Magna Carta, though quickly disregarded by King John, would go on to become one of the most influential documents in the history of democracy. Its principles of justice, due process, and limits on executive power would echo through the centuries, shaping the future of governance across the globe. Ironclad may not be a perfect historical documentary, but it succeeds in capturing the essence of this pivotal moment in English history. By blending intense action with a deeply emotional narrative, the film serves as both a tribute to the sacrifices made by those who fought for freedom and a reminder of the enduring power of resistance. Through its visceral portrayal of the brutal realities of war, the film challenges viewers to reflect on the true cost of liberty and the sacrifices necessary to secure it. Ironclad not only serves as a reminder of the past, but also offers a powerful message for the future, that the fight for freedom, justice, and equality is worth every sacrifice, no matter how dire the cost.